Alright, so in this one we are going to be doing my Dragon Ball Legends Legends Fest 2025 Part 2 Top 10 tier list here. We do have a number of characters on this list, a little exception down there. Gotta talk about him at the bottom, but as Steven mentioned, Mr. Janemba, just want to mention him real quickly as we get into this here. He is not making the top 10. He's just talked about because he is a new Legends Fest unit, a headliner that exists as part 1. But again, he doesn't make the list for me. Just what the game is providing right now with so many red units coexisting, and even more so than that. PO, every singular PO unit, you will see it as the video progresses here, goes down. They are dipping and dipping and dipping in their value. It's tough. It's unfortunate. I'll explain why per each one as they go down per each one. But Janemba, there's just so many ops against him. You have Manga Gohan being discussed in top 10 here. You have the Hitku Goku, obviously, you know, being a red unit as well. UB4 still exists, MZ still exists. It's just a lot of bad stuff for Janemba, as well as there's so many safety merits where he wants to be a quick damage burster, and then here's this revive, here's KO guard, here's UI dodging, here's another red, another red, another red. And he can't go neutral, but like here's cancel buff effect on this guy, then this guy, then this guy, then this guy, that paired with the red. It's just a not ideal time for the man. Again, he's not in that Transforming Goku Black or Evo tier of unit. He's better than them, at least from initial release, because both did get buffs, but they both still kind of suck, unfortunately. But it's just the reality of Legends Festival sometimes, and celebrations, frankly, where they just hurt characters that don't deserve to be hurt. Janemba deserves to be a really good aging unit. He deserves to, well, age better than everyone this festival. He won't. Maybe better than 1 or 2 units, but obviously not the prime god. So he does not make top 10 for me. Again, unfortunate. I wish he did, but I can't cope this character here. It just wouldn't be accurate to where I'm trying to be more objective than subjective on a tier list, as I do try to be every time. Now, get to the bottom of it. We do have the tied 10A, 10B tier here, and I do think that flows within the swappable tier, and I actually have it where it's this way, of Manga Gohan and CMZ. Yeah, hybrids definitely have gotten a buff and a resurgence within themselves. Again, if it is in the shared tier, which I only have one shared tier here, I believe, I do think that you can't swap them, and I can agree with you. I would more agree with this placement, but if you were swapped, I would be like, oh my god, that's crazy. That's not that deep, and even more so, there's multiple gaps. You can see it. There's a gap here, there's another gap here. There's multiple gaps in this tier list of what matters and what is relevant to the game right now, I feel. And this bottom tier does not mean much, but it's something, right? Manga Gohan, Puddle, Manga Gohan, and the new Gohan are a great, fantastic trio. Manga Gohan actually has pretty nice burst potential within the potency of just sniping Ultra UIs, which I think Ultra UI is a very good unit still. The, sub-count manipulation within his lock-in, then the blast spam he can do. Can't catch them off guard. Obviously, you can't avoid those as an Ultra UI because it is blast card instead of strike card, so that right there is high potency within himself. Again, the new Gohan giving the safety merit of revival, the new Gohan also giving support, the new Gohan also providing the better equipment usage for this Gohan on a pure hybrids team. Is just everything kind of leaning toward Manga Gohan getting a good stuff. And more so than that is where we talk about now, 10B, CMZ just gets really, really screwed over. The new Gohan, I'm going to keep mentioning the Gohan because he is the game right now. You could assume who's number 1, but I won't say. You just could assume, but he is the game. Now, CMZ, unfortunately for CMZ, has the lock-in thing, right? He gets locked in, then he seals everything. Well, the new Gohan, after combo taken, will lock you into your situation. So, yeah, you can waste their things, and they can't use their cards or CMZs against Gohans and stuff, and that's great. Rather, Gohans against CMZs, and that's great. But that's the whole issue. The main point of CMZ's teams would be himself, 13, and MZ. So 13 is not going to be the guy that's damaging Gohan. No, MZ is disadvantaged, so it's not going to be him. So it's always going to be CMZ hitting Gohan. And within the end of that combo, guess what happens? CMZ would be the one that's locked in because he's the one doing the most offense in a burst potential against Gohan, because he's neutral to him, while the other one is not damaged. The other one is not a type of damage or even neutral. So CMZ's always the one doing that, which means his lock-ins get wasted. His anti-lock-ins get wasted, and you have Namek Goku with Gohan that can coexist in the game, or even UI, or whatever else that has a lock-in, but those two as the primaries, or those 3 rather, as the primaries. So you waste his lock-in stoppages that he has, CMZ, and that just dwindles all of his coexistence. He will die so much faster. The whole thing was he wasn't a Namek Goku victim on release because he could lock the cards, and Namek Goku was not as ideal because of that, right? Definitely could victimize him later game, but it took a lot more effort because the card locks that were happening 2 times. Well, you just circumvent that now with Gohan takes the combo. He takes the last few cards, okay, boom, you can tell that's going to happen, boom. one of those gone. Boom, you let Namek Goku do a lock-in waste, boom, one of those gone. Ultra UI did his swap-in thing, boom, one of those gone. And then both are gone within the first 20, 30 counts of the match. Guess what happens to CMZ after that? Namek Goku locks him in, Ultra UI locks him in again, Gohan locks him in again, then he dies. And then it's all over. And CMZ's just dead, kaput, nothing he can do about it. Even if he is good against Gogeta, that doesn't matter because there's yellows always running with Gogeta. The best team is a blue, yellow, green right now. Guess what? Yellow is always there. And even more so than that, you look at blue, yellow, green. Okay, green would stop blue of 13. Yellow would stop CMZ of purple. And then blue would stop Red MZ of Red MZ, right? Because the blue unit. So it's literally color countered against itself within PO and within that merit of its own individuality, because those teams have much more safety than a PO team. It just has revival. That's all it has there. There's not much you can do. PO just gets dwindled so much. Again, Janemba goes down because of it. Everyone goes down. Every singular PO character has gotten worse within Part 2. It is not a hot take. It is just an objective take. And CMZ has dwindled to a far, far degree. I mean, if I'm being really nice here, he is, not meant to be on this list. And I am being nice here by putting him as a 10B. This is a number 11 slot. Janemba is not the number 12 or 11 slot. He's just here because he's new. I want to talk about him because he's new still and he deserves to get some recognition. CMZ should not be here. I'm being nice by putting him here. I do think Manga Gohan's more valuable. I think Hybrids is much more valuable. Hybrids gives Gohan 150% support. That Gohan catches you when he's on Hybrids, you auto lose. Just, sure, you can't kill him and sure you can snipe out Gohan, obviously, but the circumstantial plays to get that happening, because here's the extra life, here's Puddle, here's the infinite glaze, here's you getting caught by AoE green bullshit, by subcount manipulation, by cancel buff effect, whatever, is so easy to do. Like, Hybrid is not broken, but Hybrid is definitely like a top 5 team in the game, much better than like a GT, a Reps right now. Despite Reps just getting buffed, I would say Hybrid is actually better than even them, which, again, the team is pretty nice and it hasn't gotten buffed besides this new Gohan and Manga Gohan since Puddle Zenkai, and that was a couple months ago. So if we get Blue Beast Zenkai, Revhan Zenkai, one of those plat, whatever. Red Beast is in that key thing. He could easily get a Zenkai in Part 3 because he's in that key exchange thing they can buy for like $8. I guarantee one of those is going to happen soon, and I guarantee it's going to be Part 3, but Hybrid is still, it's growing. It got one buff, and lo and behold, the Hybrid units are getting more value within that there. Then, we move on to a coffee sip, because that was a lot of yapping. Holy shit. A beautiful coffee sip, thank you. Number 9, with it being the Puddle Boy. I think the Puddle Boy is obviously, again, very valuable. I just mentioned the Hybrid team, and I still will mention the Hybrid team. Within Gohan being there, again, the support that Puddle gives, 25% on entry. After taking a card, you just go to Puddle, or rather leave from Puddle, and then boom, that's 25% more, so that's 50% support for you. Manga Gohan does 30% support, or rather, I think it's 40% for coexisting, and 30% on his green card again. The Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, when he revives, he has 30% support. So again, Hybrids is just this auto-damage team of freeness, and Puddle does not hit badly. I think people kind of underestimate and kind of underassume when they're fighting a Puddle, he's not going to hurt me that bad. Then Puddle does a strike card, does like 35% of your health. You're like, what the who the fuck is that guy? You look at the Hybrid team, you also look at just Puddle himself. He has that dog in him, bro. He got that dog to do that crazy numerical thing, and he does it well. Even, funny enough, this guy's not even getting Zenkai buff besides himself on his teams. You're running it where it's kind of wishy-washy as well, where Manga Gohan's hella blast, and the new Gohan is hella strike, and Puddle's more strike-based than blast-based, but it still works out so because there's so much support going throughout the team that, like, it doesn't matter if one's more blast, one's more strike. You're just getting so much overall damage that everyone just hits like a fucking missile on the team. And again, the safety is there within endurance of Puddle, within the revival of Gohan. The green cards that Gohan can spawn once Manga Gohan dies, and Manga Gohan can also spawn a green card, which again, AoE green cards within Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. And Super Saiyan 2 Gohan hits like a goddamn broken character, pre and post revive, more in post, obviously. Hybrids, again, is just a really strong team, so having Puddle here and Manga Gohan both making top 10 for me makes sense in my mind. I ran that team, I was like, okay, it's going to be a fun little content team, but like, it legitimately is a team you can run right now. Like, run that. Like, just try it. Just try it for a second before you judge it. It works goddamn well, so enjoy that. And then we move on to number 8 here, with it being UV4. Now, I still think he is valuable. I don't think he really gains or loses here. I mean, I guess technically he would lose because Gohan's blue, but then, again, you would always run UV4 with Super Gogeta. No, Super Gogeta is going to be the main pivot point besides Gohan in this, because if there's a red that's higher tier than X or Y characters, because, boom, a green can run with them. Or they run with Gohan well. It's one of those two choices. And UV4 is that same boat where it is UV4 Super Gogeta, whether it be Ultra UI or Namek Goku or whatever you want, Android 13, who cares? It doesn't matter your third, because it really is just those two. It's just whatever third, just providing safety or support, whatever you want to do, right? KO guard, revival, whatever. UV4 still works well. He is still good against Ultra UI, so that gives him value. Good against Ultra Namek, can do some burst potential against Gohan. I will say I've not fought him much recently. Matter of fact, I've fought the 3 units below him more, but again, I still understand his value. I still understand he still has that dog in him to do that good damage. It's just, there's so many better choices than to him, whether it be having the same element or not, which they do. There's 2 reds here that are still not listed. There's just better choices for SG. There's better teams for SG. There's better teams for Android 13. There's better teams for Ultra UI. There's better teams for Namek Goku. So while UV4 still has that solo potential, and he always had this, again, his individual is what carries him more than anything else, because look at CMZ. This guy's much newer than UV4, right? A couple months. Well, look at where he is, because his individual is not as high as UV4's. Right? It's much lower. UV4 can really solo through everything and kind of maintain his own merit of value because of the switch attack being so broken, and CMZ doesn't really have anything crazy to that league and despair that could be created, because UV4 is a really toxic guy. Well, CMZ's toxic. UV4 is much more toxic because infinite cards, switch attack, green card, infinite more cards. Like, he still got it, but the issue does rise. Every single time we talk about UV4, this happens every single time. His teams get brought up, and then you bring up the teams, and then you think of every single unit on his team that can run with him, just has a better team here, or there, or here, or there. And nothing changes with that in this tier list, because UV4 still valuable, still very good, just not as needed. And hey, a lot of people are saying Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Full Power Goku for Part 3. I've heard a lot of Ultra TVS Broly Part 3. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Super Saiyan 4 Goku Full Power Part 3. And if that's the case, then people were thinking he'd be blue, but now that Gohan's blue, people are a lot more saying he's going to be green to be good against Gohan and pair with UV4. So if that happens, UV4 probably rises to like top 3. But for now, that's not reality. So hey, maybe in 2-3 weeks we'll see. But for now, this is where it goes. Then we move on to the coffee sip, because wow, I am talking a lot in a fast time here. Someone timestamp every coffee sip, and I'll give you a Lamborghini in Roblox. We move on to number 7, though, with it being Android 13. Yeah, this guy is taking a dip. Simplest way to explain this, again, not going too much into the other units' details, because I want to save that for when their own tier spot's placed. But I would just say simply is this, that Gohan and Namek Goku duo ship kind of, I would say, makes 13's usefulness not as necessary as it once was. I mean, think of it like this. Both are revival, right? Go for blue revival there. Gohan clearly hits hard Android 13. Gohan has a revived state. Okay, boom, he supports 30%. You're with Namek Goku. Namek Goku supports 20% when his gauge is filled. Okay, boom. 50% support right there from 2 characters. But Gohan and Namek Goku's individuality is better than Android 13's. So when the individual is better and the support does end up matching by the end of the day, it's going to be kind of worthless to run a character that's just insignificant in one of those regards. And Android 13 is more insignificant in his damage setting, in his defense setting, in every other setting besides his support than those two together, which you would always run those two together because they are intended to be together because of KO guard and safety and revival and everything, all this other bullshit. We'll get into that later. Baseline point is 13 is not as needed because 2 units will fulfill his role better, and those 2 units always want to be together. It's kind of like MZ and CMZ. They want to be together. Well, if one of them drops, the other one has to drop. They don't not work together. If you make them try to work together, it can work for one or the other, but one of them will get left behind. And again, that other one of MZ or CMZ will still fall down. It's just they won't fall as far of leagues, which you'll see in this tier list. CMZ placement, and then you'll see MZ placement soon enough, where it's still lower for MZ than it's ever been, but it's not as low as CMZ because one is better than the other. Android 13, a similar vibe there, where he wants to have all these teammates and allies. Let's say Namek Goku, SG. Again, he can run with anybody in the game. That's great. That's awesome versatility, but that versatility doesn't need to coexist when units are already doing your role just to a higher degree and doing more effective things within other roles that you aren't doing as effective. So PO getting hurt does not help this guy. Clearly, blue, red, purple PO is his bread and butter. Any team he can flow on does coexist still. Can still run it, sure. But again, why would you run him when Gohan exists? It just doesn't make sense. Like, if a new blue drops that does your role better, which he does his role better, it's a safety role, then this guy that's not doing that same role better than the other must go down. So Android 13 must go down as Gohan is rising up, and everything else that does just exists in this game right now. It does not benefit Android 13 kind of being used. I mean, I think I've maybe fought like 5 Android 13s. I'm like top 20 in the world. I just did those 2 1.5-hour videos back to back, literally back to back. I sleep, did the Hitku video. Before that, I did the Gohan video. That shit was like 70 games, 60 games, back to back. Top 20 or some shit in this early ass season, which means nothing. It's just saying I've had a lot of experience this season. I barely ran into this guy, so there's that. Then we move on into the number 6 here, with it finally being Red MZ. I think Red MZ is decent. I don't think he's ideal. I do think there is a setting where people are not trying this enough, which I do think people should be trying this more, where Red MZ just runs with Super Gogeta. I don't think people have tried that way, again, that way of using him enough. I think people are still stuck on the PO route with 13 MZ CMZ. While it still probably can be effective, it's just not as effective as it once was. Just trying with Super Gogeta and Namek. I mean, I feel like that's a fine team. Obviously, Namek Goku's getting full ultra ability there. You kind of can make it where Namek Goku's leader slot, make more fusion stuff. Zenka buff CMZ, and by having, what is it? I think CMZ, LF CMZ buffs Fusion Warrior on Z ability. If not, then I'm sure there's somebody that kind of could buff him. I guess Ape, Red Ape, you could put on the bench there. Have Red Ape there, LFG4 there. Boom, you're Zenka buffing both of the fusion characters, and you could even have Yellow 4Ku there, because if you want to leader slot MZ, it kind of work out at that point. I think all those characters buff Saiyans besides obviously Red MZ, so can do that. I think there's a little bit more to Red MZ that meets the eye right now. I think there's a little bit of downplay on his existence, though I don't think people have tried that team, which I definitely will be willing to try that, and probably will try that for a video here soon. Still very top tier. Health 30 buffs are very nice. Again, he's clearly hurt by the fact that Gohan coexists in this game right now. But, hey, there's 2 yellows right there that I'm looking at that are going to be higher than him, because they have that blue partner that's really saving him. But, again, I think that trio of these 3 here can definitely do something. I think there's a little bit more to him than given the stock that he's given right now for a lot of players. So, Red MZ hit 6. Again, just more hurt because his teammates are hurt. It's not really anything on his own merit that's getting killed. Again, clearly he is worse off now just because of blue, but that's not his own individuality that's getting, like, destroyed. Like, he's still going to be as good as he once was. It's just he needs a little more protection now from a different character instead of X character that was protecting him before. So, try that team. I'll try that team. I think right now, though, this is a good baseline for him, because there's no way I'm going to put him below Android 13 and UV4, and I don't think this other unit's going to be worse than him. So, move on here into the number 5, with it being Hitku. I was very jaded with this unit initially because they looked not ideal. I mean, I ran them in LBR, so it's full 14 stars, everything, and I think that's the most balanced way to show units. So anytime I get the chance to, when PvP's down, you know, it's only LBR, it's up, it's friendly matches. I think that's a very nice thing to do, because, okay, well, it's equal stars. I know you're not going to fight equal stars in PvP, but, like, here's an equal setting. How do they look when they're equalized? Not like I have a star advantage or they have a star disadvantage, whatever. Just equalized. And they were struggling a lot. But then, here we go. Here's ranked that drops in a couple of days into it, with it being the new season. And they look much better. Though, the problem with them is they do have way too many flaws. They're just like Janemba, where their flaws are very high. I wish there was less going on there than that. Again, the worst part of them is their coloring right now. Like, we do need a new red. You know, we kind of do. We don't really have a new red that coexists in this game right now, so we do need that. And we even need a new purple, which I agree with. This should have just been one or the other, though, because right now, the worst part about this unit is their double element. I assumed they were going to be one element, or like red reverse, or purple reverse. One of the two. That's what I was thinking on my head when they first got revealed. The fact that they're both hurts them and makes them not place higher. If they were not this, if they were any other dual element, literally any other in the game, they would be higher placement. But the fact that they're red-purple when there's a blue-yellow dominant meta right now, because Gohan and UI, Gohan and Namek is the game. It is physically what matters only in this game right now. There's so much sub-counter from Gohan where he can enter or he can leave and have someone else enter, and boom, you're going to be in with your hits, and then you're going to do your lock-in, and you're trying to snipe this SG, and then boom, Gohan's already going to be back in. And guess what? Your snipe thing, your big boom damage meant to do with hit, didn't happen. Your lock-in sub-counter up, you know, your lock-in that happened, didn't happen. You missed it. You didn't miss it, but Gohan's sub-counter made it, so you missed it. So you have to play a perfect play style with them, a perfect idealization. And that's not impossible, which is why they are up here. It's just so much more difficult than units that are going to be above them. I say there's a gap between these characters, and I'll explain that soon. But it's baseline because the simplicity of these other characters is so much more than the units that are below it. I think Red MZ is pretty simple, but again, he's lacking because of team. Hitku is much more complex, but they have pretty good teams, which within Gohan and Namek Goku is a very good team within Hitku. But again, there's so much more complex to make work, and when a game is as simple as Legends and it requires more complexity than not to make your units work, the unit is usually less effective because XYZ character is so simple, you don't have to use your brain, so they're more effective. That's kind of everything in life, but Hitku's a prime example of that. They can do their dominant stuff. I've seen them dominate games, but I've also seen them just die in 3 cards, 4 cards, and their endurance with cancel buff effects is great. But what if they're Gohan that they're fighting because all they do is reduce ki by 30 and up the sub count, just spams blast cards or spams strikes cards, and that's it. There's no nothing that procs when their endurance pops. They pop 4 strikes, your Goku's in. You have good timings. Okay, boom, you're dead. At least you have KO guard from Namek Goku, and there's your second chance. Happens again. Boom, 2 strikes, you're dead. That's how easy it is for this unit to die. It's not impossible to kill them early game. It's very simple to kill them early game. There's no big disrupt within them. Unlike Synchro SG has a very big disrupt on 50% proc, which you can still avoid, but there's less units that can avoid it. Minusing my ki by 35 and up my sub count by 2 ain't gonna do jack shit to me when I'm running Gohan, UI, Namek, SG, MZ. There's so many units. Even Hitku themselves can avoid it. Like, there's so many characters that just don't care. Again, they're very good on their damage. They have a lot of Zen buffs. They have a lot of things that can go their way. But right now, just what the meta is, and I'm sure they even could go higher than this when Part 3 drops, if it is not blue or yellow, because it could be. You never know. They would go much higher than this, maybe up to 4, maybe even up to 3 when Part 3 drops. But for now, with blue-yellow dominating as just the teams and the best units duo ship here, there's nothing you can do about Hitku. They can't go higher. It's not possible. Because all it is above them is just blue-yellow and then agreeing to stop the blue. Like, that's all it is. And the green doesn't even stop the blue. He just is good against them. But let me explain the gap here between 4 and 5. With it being, this is what you're going to run into in PvP. I know you fought your Hitkus, you fought MZs, CMZs, Puddles, whatever. You fought them from time to time. But what you run into in PvP is these 4 units. That's all that matters. The game revolves around these 4, and it primarily focus forces you to play against one character. But it revolves around these 4 characters, which is why I think this is separate. Oh my god, look at me doing this. Good grief. It forces you to play around these 4 characters and build teams around them. So, number 4 for me is going to be Mr. Ultra UI Goku with the gap there. Let me explain why after this. Again, timestamp the coffee sips. Coffee sip here. Ultra UI Goku with it being number 4 because he's very good, but I don't think he's on the best team in the game. I've used the Gohan guy enough, and I can clearly tell the best team in the game is not going to consider this guy because the safety merit of the other teams, the lock componency within the other teams, is just way too high. And I think let's say you take out Namek Goku instead, and you put Ultra UI. Well, what happens there is all you have is Gohan safety. You pop Gohan's revival, whether it be because of Namek Goku lock, or you just ignore Gohan's revival and you just lock in with Namek Goku from a blast card. Boom, you rush. Ultra UI dies. SG dies. Well, those 2 die. Once you lose a character at that point, a 3v2, damn near impossible, in a 2v3 setting for yourself, that's where the team kind of falters. And I think adding Ultra UI to that makes it worse off. Again, there's a double yellow argument you can make with Namek Goku, Ultra UI, and the new Gohan, but even then, I would say it's okay effectiveness. I don't think it's crazy enough. Gohan can still victimize it. You're just kind of relying on a hopefulness where I, as an opponent to you, have more strike cards and blast cards, and my team is 1-1 the entire way through. So if I have a little bit worse hand than you in some specific setting where it's 3 blast cards instead of strikes, but then you swap Ultra UI, so it's actually a good hand, okay, Ultra UI is going to get victimized. By the end of that, I've had it many times where I've fallen Ultra UI, and then I just drew so many blast cards. I don't know what the fuck I did, but I just drew so many blast cards, and guess what happened from there? They either lost their gauge by the end of the blast cards, or they swapped out before anything could happen. Then all the strikes cards I was going to draw anyways start spawning up, and then boom, the team just kind of starts crumbling on its own feet because you don't have SG there to kind of stop Gohan a little bit within the type advantage they can create to cancel buff effects. So I think Ultra UI doesn't feel the best team in the game because of those things, as well as he can't really snipe anything right now. I mean, you look at the team, right, with it being the best 3, which clearly would be the ones below, of SG, Namek, and Gohan himself. Well, Gohan's not going to die to UI, clearly, because they're revived. KO Guard is going to pop, and that's not going to kill. And then SG has KO Guard as well, so it's not going to pop as well. So Ultra UI's kind of sniping that he was doing to people and being much more effective with when he was not putting another revival unit in the game. That's kind of more so gone. Like, okay, it was where, okay, KO Guard, SG, UI, right? It was those three. Okay, pops KO Guard with the Ultra UI's ultimate. Boom! Now you can just kill anything whenever you want with the rush or whatever big move you can do. Now, with the extra life on top of that, Ultra UI's snipage, while it's still potent, it's not as potent as once was. So again, for those reasons, I would say he kind of falls below on the wayside there to not make the best team. I think the best team usually consists of a 1-2-3 character, maybe a 1-2-4, sometimes 1-2-5 at worst, because that third character really is kind of getting carried by XYZ of the other mechanics of X characters. But he hits number 4 there, still very effective, clearly. Still one of the best teams in the game is him double yellow with Gohan or within SG. All that shit there is good. Nothing within reps, because reps is still ass. But, hey, he's very good. He's a tedious little piece of shit. I've said it already, where I don't recommend you play this season, and I stick to that because you have Ultra UI in the top 5, and you have 2 AoE green units in the top 3. So, it's a bit of a fucking situation to be in here. And, by the way, every single unit within the top 4 has some way to pseudo-lock. If not full lock, you win. Which is, well, top 5, I guess, because Hitku, but top 4 matters more. Which is, it's quite a meta of all time. But, then we move on to number 3, with it being Mr. Namek Goku. I think he does his job very well. I think he does want to fit on all these teams again. Just think about the versatility of Android 13. It fits Namek Goku as well, where KO Guard, it's just so beneficial to everybody's life. If you don't have your own safety merit, I think there's always a reason to run Namek Goku. So Gohan doesn't need him, but it's just more effective to run him because of the reasons I've stated before, against CMZ, against MZ, against all these other characters, even against UI himself, within the lock-ins and all that shit. But even if you don't have a safety merit, well, here's your reason to run them. Hitku needs this. I understand they have endurance cancel buff effects, but they still need this. At Red MZ, if you're going to run him on a team, you still need this. And even then, it's not enough safety with the Namek Goku SGMZ, because guess what? KO Guard pop, boom, you're going to get killed over next. But it's something more than nothing. People are, again, trying to run a double yellow right here, so there's more safety, because guess what you don't have without KO Guard, mister here? Either you're running SG, so there's no other safety, or you just have revival. The double is much more effective than just the one, so you always want at least one on your team. Namek Goku obviously having his lock-in, his AoE green. He's kind of looking like UMV to me, I'm not going to lie. I'm getting little flashbacks every time I see this character in my fucking game. But, what are you going to do? Hey, he's aging very well. A lot of people were saying, or thinking, that Frieza would age better, and clearly it's not been the case. This guy is bare minimum top 4. I actually had it beforehand where I had 3-4 tied, but I think because this guy is just outright on the best team in the game, it can't be tied for me. Even if I do think UI is better individually, which I do think UI is better individually because he just is better numbers and better inflation because he got his plat. Yeah, no, this guy's just way too free and easy to run on so many teams, and most of those teams, funny enough, do fit strike-based molds, which he is more strike-based than UI being more blast. Doesn't matter too much, but it does have some impact on his placement on the list. He's just so free and easy to run. There's no reason not to run Namek Goku on every single team in the game. It's just, you're literally hurting yourself not doing that. I don't think you're hurting yourself not running Ultra UI as much as you are than not running Namek Goku. So that's where that goes. And then we get the last 2 here. And who's going to be number 1, SG or Gohan? Please don't fuck around with me. You know the fucking answer. Yeah, clearly it's going to be this. And I'll explain the gap when we get there. But SG, very good against the Gohan comparatively to anybody else on this list. I mean, look at the whole entire fucking list. I guess Ultra UI would be the secondary goodness against Gohan, and even then, that's kind of fucking glazing, because it's literally just RNG reliant. If I have high strike cards, sure, but if I don't, I'm getting fucking killed over like anybody else. But hey, he does have the cancel buff effects, SG, in the pre as well as the post, so within that, let's say Gohan wants to do his blue card, he's neutral within it. Okay, SG's in prior, taking some of the cards, getting his synchro build up, as well as cancel buff effect, and then you can just actually not die from that because Gohan stacks a lot of damage, and then once you have that done, given he's going to beat the shit out of you even as a green unit, he won't be killing you as a green unit because you're a green unit. You cancel this neutral, so he can't be neutral within that. Again, there's no perfect answer to Gohan. There's a reason there's a gap here. But if there is a best answer to Gohan, it is SG. There's not more you can even say about that. Again, the team would be, again, Namek Goku, SG, and Gohan. And SG is really there just to build up from taking hits from the opponent. gets his fusion state, maybe pop a green card, get some gimmicky stuff, get some snipe potency within another SG, within a Gohan, because he did some green card, blast card, bullshit spam, strike cards, whatever. You go from SG into your Namek Goku, do a lock-in from the sub-count manipulation, up into a Namek Goku lock-in, into a Gohan swap-in. There's a lot of bullshit you can create. So SG being the best answer to Gohan, again, not an answer, but a helpfulness against Gohan, which that's the best I can give him there, because there really is, again, no fucking answer to this half-breed, is really where he comes in and stays in his value. I don't think there's much else you can say about him. I don't think he can go down, because even if there is purples, which there's not many, Hitku, again, has the situation where they gotta deal blue-yellow, so they can't thrive, and CMZ already is getting fucked by more things than not, so he can't thrive, so SG has no reason to go down, because no purples are hurting him, and there's a blue on top, so I don't know where else he could go. He can't go lower than this. So that's where he stays. Then the gap, I do think there's a gap between everything in the game. It's not a blue beast size gap where he literally is just power creeping everybody and everything, but it's not far off. I would say we're like 80% off, or rather 80% into the gap blue beast created. So we're about 20% off the peak of blue beast right here within this Gohan. Pre-revival state, clearly he's number 1, by the way. He hits like he's in a revival state. If this guy had no revive and he just had his pre-revival, he would still be, given this isn't as high, but he would be like a top 5 unit bare minimum within that. Just as a pre-revival, what he does in his pre, how much damage he's outputting, and even his fucking cancel buff effects, and rather, not cancel buff effects, the, I'm stupid, I can't think of the fucking terminology. His main ability, the cover null infinite, I don't know why I thought cancel buff effects, I was thinking it was Super Gogeta, but does infinite cover null they can get within popping so many cards, then you pop a green card, get more cover null, you pop main ability, get a green card again, get more cover null, and you can keep stacking that over and over again. Within all that damage he can do and how much burst he stacks, because 20% per card, he would be top 5 even without it. But now that he has revival, he's guaranteed top 1. There's no debate. Again, if, in my opinion, if your tier list doesn't have 1 gap and then 2, it's not an accurate tier list. And I think there should be a gap between 4 to 5, because I do think that is the meta relevant units between one another that really matter, the ones you're going to face the most often, that are the highest tier of the game. So that's how that is for there. But again, Gohan has support on his revival state, 30% to everybody on his team. You do have the AoE green, long animation, but still AoE green, and he feels like he spawns infinite AoE greens because he gets his gauge filled, more green cards spawn. You empty the gauge by doing his cards, and then it's just a fucking whole headache. This guy hits green units like they are neutral, but again, the best thing about SG is that he has 50% proc, so he kind of can. Sometimes, if Gohan doesn't have main, which you can play for and play around, circumvent that. Again, it's the wishy-washy how you can deal with Gohan here. Again, SG is not the solution. He's just a helpfulness. But yeah, Gohan's just doing everything. He's a Gohan. He doesn't follow new philosophy. He has infinite cover null, it feels like, half the time when he's in his pre-revival state. Mind you, it's pre-revival. He has infinite safety within cancel... I keep thinking cancel buff effects. Within revival itself, he has infinite safety within a KO guard ally. He has the AoE green. He has the neutral within the blue card. He literally does everything. This character does everything. Like, they talk about new philosophy, like, oh, you can't do this, that, and the other. You can't do too many rolls. Like, we got a fucking metal cooler that does no damage, and he takes hits for a fucking living. He doesn't tank them. He just takes them. And it's like, oh, you can't do too many rolls. And then we get fucking Gohan that's, well, fucking Gohan. I mean, this is like an FSK, Blue Beast, Red Beast, whatever you want to call it. Whatever Gohan that was top 1 guaranteed on release, that's what this Gohan is. And it's nothing different than we've seen in the past. So, yeah, he's number 1. This is my top 10 list, though, for Part 2 Legends Fest 2025. Hey, maybe Super Vegeta can make it in next week within his Zenkai happening. I mean, Evo did not, because Evo is subpar, and Reps is subpar, and that team is dog shit still. So, that's unfortunate. I would say, actually, Movies is better than fucking Reps, and Movies is still not very good. Movies is kind of subpar as well. But, hey, they hate buffing Reps to a good degree and actually making them good as a team. Especially Strike Reps getting more glazed than Blast when you look at 7th Annie compared to right now, because 7th Annie, Strike Reps was very good. Blast Reps is fucking dog piss. And it's only just Ultra UI carrying it. But number 1 would be Mr. LF FSK Rival Gohan there. Then there's a gap between number 2 and number 1, with number 2 being Fusing Super Gogeta here, number 3 being Ultra Namek Goku, number 4 being Ultra UI, gap between 4 and 5, where numbers 1 through 4 are all gapping the game within being the most meta impactful units and the most dominant units in the game right now, of number 5 being LF Hitku, or LF67 as you'd like to call the youth, you know. Number 6 being LFMZ, number 7 being Android 13, number 8 being Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, number 9 being LF Puddle Boy, and number 10A/10B, aka 1011, interchangeable here being Manga Red Gohan and Ultra Crotomer's Masu. Janemba, you've lived a very short life. You were very high in top 10, and you were like that 5-6 spot, right? You were in a good spot. Just Namek Goku was still better, which fucking sucks. But hopefully you get a resurgence, because you're a fun unit. But that's my top 10 for part 2. Might update with Super Vegeta. We'll see. I doubt it, but hey, that guy has a lot of potential. I'll give him that. He really does have a lot of potential, so we'll see what happens there. What do you guys think? I'll see you guys in the next one.